right, thanks for posting your questions here, and I'll do a video to answer your questions on these posts. So I encourage you guys to go ahead and do that. Um, so yeah, the question by Wilson Anthony is, please create a video on how to showing how to automate for profit taking and when to boost. All right, so I'm going to tell you what I do, and there's lots of ways of doing this, but this is what I do based on my lifestyle and how much effort I want to put into this. Okay. Now, of course, you can always do more and do better if you research and you put effort into it. You can do more, but based on your lifestyle and your work, this is what I do. Okay. All right. So I don't really follow the charts on what happens here. Sometimes I do have a feeling on when to take profit, and sometimes based on my lifestyle, I will take profit a little bit higher when certain things happen. Okay. For example, when the market was here, it was sideways for a good, I don't know, almost a month, I'd say, just sideways or 2 months. This is daily candles. Okay. Um, Eventually, as I DCA in and it's not going up any higher, I end up borrowing to a point where it matches my collateral, and then I have to take profit at that point. All the while, I did DC all the way down here and all the way up and whatnot, but eventually, Bitcoin will not be able to provide enough for what you need. Okay, then you have to sell, and that did happen. I did sell around here to pay off my credit cards or whatever, because I was like, you know what, it's probably time. So I sold it, paid off 20,000 credit cards before it came down, which I'm kind of glad. But now I have to really build it back up. I had about point 0.4 here, so I'm building it back up here now, and all this ups and downs and whatnot. So that's kind of what you have to do. Okay, so technical wise on what to do on Aave, you click on Aave, make sure you're in your safe wallet. You click on automate, and then I set it so that, as long as my ratio is healthy, if it's above or below 105, then it'll sell about 5% to pay off and bring that ratio back to 110. Okay. And then you make sure you update and sign it, and that's it. Okay. There's option to boost, but I did have this at one point, but I ended up turning it off because then I'd rather boost when I'm ready. A lot of the times I would take profit towards the high because I have money because it's gone up, and I will borrow, borrow, borrow. But if I boost up here, then that really tightens it up, and then it actually does trigger it early to sell. Okay. So in a sense, I'm paying $50 to boost up, and then I'm actually paying another $50 to sell it again. Okay, so a lot of these buying and selling in cost fees, and it could, end up, you know, losing, or you're spending money to do that, right? But at the same time, I'm kind of glad because look at how much it came down, right? But if it didn't, it could tap me in and then take off. Who knows? So I use it based on your needs. The rule is Bitcoin serves you, you don't serve it. Okay, so technical wise, this is how you set up the automation. This is my numbers. You can change it however is comfortable for you, and then click update and sign the contract, and then it'll be automated. Okay. All right. So let's see if I answered that one. That's how to automate, and that's how I take profit. Okay. Now there's other ways you can take profit too. There's ones where you can say, hey, if it reaches a certain price, you just go back to automate. There's other options that you can explore. If it reaches a certain price, it'll fully close the entire position. Do you want that? I don't know. I don't want that. So that's up to you. Okay. You can boost when it hits a certain price. So you could boost it at the high, or you could repay your entire loan when it reaches a certain high, or you could close out your entire position if it drops below a certain point. Okay. And so he's like, hey, if it drops below, you're at 111 right now. If it drops below 110, sell everything. That's the stop loss. Okay. So it says my stop loss is more of a DCA out. It'll kind of stop out a little bit. It'll sell a little bit, 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 and I still have something. I'm still in the game. I'm just not selling everything, right? And then all the while I'm still pouring back in DCA, 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 and keep bringing it back up. And it looks like they changed it a little bit so that it's easier kind of to you can leverage here. You can repay your loans here by deleveraging. You can supply, withdraw, borrow. You can pay back your loans. Okay, and you can switch your collaterals, all this other cool stuff. Okay, switch your positions. Oh, that's kind of cool. I can talk about that one too. Open a position flip, swap your collateral. So in a sense, you can swap at the high, swap all your bitcoins to USDC up here, and then all your borrows are wrapped Bitcoin, so that when it comes down, you're actually paying off your debt in a sense. But then you got to know to switch it back. So that's what's great about this is that you can do this all in one go, and you can swap the whole thing. I can swap my whole Bitcoin for USDC, and it'll basically switch this, and then I'll have 10,000 in USDC, swap everything, and then once I come down, flip it back again, and in a sense, it'll pay itself off when it moves. So you can totally do all this quickly with DeFi Saver, okay, which is why it's such an awesome tool, right? So of course, you're paying fees to be able to do this and whatnot. You can switch your collateral to something else. It's all done here. All right, so profit taking, I profit take as my family needs it. When to boost? Well, initially, I would recommend a boosting account like mine. Mine is the high leverage one. I leverage a lot, I boost a lot. But yes, I'm being triggered out. I need to move it. And a lot of times when the price comes down, you're basically getting triggered to deleverage. So you leverage up, you take profit, take profit, take profit. But when it comes down, you have to deleverage, otherwise it cleans you out because that's the double-edged sword. Because it comes down, you lose a lot faster too. So you need to either get out entirely or dollar cost average out, and that's my strategy. Okay, and because I don't watch the charts that closely. And then so every week I would pay my wife $500, and she also has her own DeFi Saver account. And all she does is, as far as leverage goes, is just borrow for groceries. She doesn't boost at all. And so I know that I play the game, like the casino game. I'll play Eli, stop. I'll play the game, and then kind of like at the craps table, and I'm making money, but then I'll play too hard, I'll risk too much, and all the while she's taking $100 every time I throw and tucking it aside until I use up all my money. Then I'm like, okay, I'm done playing the craps game, and I look at her. She's like, hey, you're still up $1,000. I'm like, yeah, sweet. So that's kind of how we play it. So you might have your spouse, your husband, wife, whatever, be the other low risk end if they're not risk averse, or and if he or she is the more risky version, you might want them to play boosting, and you just tuck away and keep it, and just use it just for your needs and groceries as far as leverage goes, and that's it, and never boost on your end, but they can boost all they need as long as they are willing to put the work in and watch the charts and sell and get out when you need to get out. Okay. But you do need to set out automation. You do need to at least have $500 in debt in order to use this. And even though sometimes these flash crashes do happen and you can't sell it fast enough or you can't sell it in time, and that could happen. And if DeFi doesn't catch it and Aave catches it, you lose, it basically sells 50% of your position. So I would still set this up. You might set it a little more conservative. You might sell it higher. You might even sell it when it's like 101, but then
This deer is the mother of the four kids.
all right, sorry about that. All right, so depending how, close it gets to Avi's trigger, and also there's, what's it called? Slippage, they call it. If it drops too fast and you're like, dude, Avi would catch it and sell off your 50% over DeFi. So I like to keep it a little higher, a little healthier. So I sell a little earlier in a sense, based on my position, and then just repay it a little bit at a time. So if it flashes more than 5%, I could get caught, but who knows? Okay. All right. So how do I boost? Well, I boost mainly when I borrow. Um, I used to not boost at all, and my position got really healthy, which is good. And I was able to kind of accumulate and build up a lot faster. And I was like, you know what? Every time I borrow to pay a credit card, that's a liability, right? So how do I add more assets to my liability? So that's why I somehow came with the idea of if I borrow $500, then I should add another $500 in. That doesn't look right. Why is it so low? 500, yeah. If I borrow $500, then I try to keep it healthy, right? So if I borrow $400, I need to at least keep that healthy. So I'll probably borrow $400 to just keep that healthy. And then if I have enough, I'll leverage another $400 here. Okay. And sometimes I don't have enough because it's low. So so I might just boost first and then borrow it later, or I'll say, hey, I need $500, so let's just boost now. I'll keep it healthy, and then I'll borrow the $500 later when it comes up. But if it does come down, I can get triggered. Okay. So right now it's Thursday. I'm supposed to give my wife $500, so I can either boost it now, and then hopefully by the end of the week I'll have enough. So look at my bank account right now. I think I have maybe another $100 thrown in here to clear this. And so it kind of depends on the market, and right now it would be a good time to boost and borrow at this low point. If I boost it, it brings it too low, and if I borrow it, it'll be real tight, and I could get triggered and force me to sell another $2,000 down here. So that's why I'm kind of playing a real tight game right now. Um, so that's why I recommend maybe when you're like 130, 150 around there, you'll have enough space to borrow and boost and not have to worry about playing it too tightly here. Okay. All right. Hopefully that helps. So that's how I play it. You could play it differently. You can watch the charts. You can boost it, and try to plan it exactly where you need it. You can leverage up to the hilt. You can take as much risk as you want, or you can take no risk and never boost, and you'll do just as fine, not boosting at all. So I think for now, as you're starting out, you actually do better in the long run not boosting it, which is why my wife is doing great. I mean, she hasn't got liquidated. It's compounding and building, and and whatnot. Or you have two accounts, one that boosts and one that doesn't boost, and that's the way I would work it. Okay. I don't have a right answer for you, but this is what I do. You can follow what I do, and I only boost it when I need it. And if I don't have enough to boost it, then I'll just borrow what I need, because Bitcoin serves me first. And then once I have enough later, as it comes up in price, then I'll boost up and buy at a higher price. Or you gotta bring new fresh money in, then you'll have the ability to boost at a lower price. But if it does come down again, you could get triggered and forced to sell. And if you didn't leverage, you'd be able to survive a 5% drop, and it could just come down and not get wicked out, and then it'll continue going up. All right. Or it could just wick down, you're glad you sold, and it kept going down. I don't know. Okay. Just based on what you need. And yeah, I am kind of, I probably should go back to not leveraging. Another way for me to take profit too is as it comes up and I have a lot more money, I will continually boost on the way up as I borrow, boost on the way up and borrow, and then put into my vault here. Okay, so this is where I also take profit in a sense. This is low leverage, so you move everything from leverage to no leverage. You borrow at 5%, and so far it's making about 10%. So I think it's worth doubling the borrows. Okay, and so right now I'm paying down credit cards. So as soon as that's all paid off, the $500 I'm paying weekly will probably go into here building up this portfolio. I used to have up to 20,000 at one point until I paid off my cards, and then now uh, I'm really building it back up. Okay. So what I would still do is even if I put into the bot and I put $500 a week, all right, and I make sure I monitor my percentage. Um, yeah, I think the math's a little off right now, so that don't look right either. So we just kind of refresh it. I don't know if they have a little bug, so I just kind of be mindful of that. Maybe this is this little update here that's not doing well. Oh, fine. Yeah, WBTC. So if I supply a lot, yeah, that'll make sense. Yeah, I think it's fine. All right. So if I supply here, and then I borrow for my bot. So I would actually put the money here, borrow from the bot, making sure that's safe, and that's not safe. Then if it is, then I'll borrow that, and then I'll still boost another $500 here, and then put this into this vault, okay? Because I know that everything here is kind of like my checking account, and if I withdraw from this, I don't have to boost it again because I know I've already done it on Aave, okay, or DeFi Saver. Okay, so this is actual money in the bank, my bank account. Yeah, it's not much, right? Uh, but I have built it up to 20,000 and paid off my solar panels. So I think it's a win to have an electrical bill for the rest of my life. Okay, and then that all that money for electricity can go back into here and let it grow at 10%. So far for the last 6 months, I think it should average about 24% for the year based on what it's going at, and yeah, about 1.8 for the month. I think the last 7 days, market was down, so we are in a negative position, but it's unrealized. We don't leverage, so we'll recover eventually and take profit on the way back out. Okay, so this is my trade bot secrets one right now. So this is the bot buying low. So it comes out, we'll take profit, it comes down. And all the while it's DCing in. As it does that, it's going to bring this profit line down so that once it comes out, it'll be profitable. Okay. And the more I can put in here, the more I can buy at a lower price too. So that's how I would, this is the ultimate take profit. And so this is like your side business when you say, hey, this is my inventory in USDT. So if I want to make a certain amount, let's say if I have 100,000, that's bringing me 25,000 a year. If I can build this up to maybe 400,000, then that's $100,000 a year, right? But I mean, just to if you put like 20K in here and that you're making an extra 2,000 a year, is that right? No, 2,000. Oh, 20,000. Let's say 20,000 and you're making 25%, right? So that's like 5,000 for the year. So that's an extra $500 per month. Just coming in and out, right? Extra $500 can pay for quite a few bills, right? Electricity is all taken care of, or your mortgage, or not mortgage, but maybe your trash bill, your water bills, that's all taken care of, or whatever, monthly expenses that you have on a regular. And you can build this up as your ultimate end game. You can actually just sit pretty here. Okay. Here is also another ultimate end game too, which I'm gonna constantly do, but there's gonna be big crashes and big dips, and you can get liquidated, you're gonna be sold, and it'll be up and down. You can actually do no leverage here also, but it doesn't buy and sell unless you do it. I've thought about creating a bot that could trade, kind of like what this does, but on DeFi Saver. But there's a lot of technical issues between swapping and whatnot, and tracking the actual profit line, which this tracks the profit line a lot better than DeFi Saver. Because after all this history, I don't know what my average price entry price is. No idea. I've used it. I've taken in and out. All I know is that as like I wouldn't have this if I didn't do DeFi Saver. It would have been spent and gone, and I'm like, where did my money go at the end of the month? Like, I got robbed through inflation. So, so use it as a tool, and then use it as a tool for your checking account. That's how I take profit. Um, and set yourself like a goal. Like what I did was, I would say, hey, my family needs right now $500 a week. When I had a lot more, I would say, hey, every week I'm pulling 1,000. So I'm putting 1,000 here into my bot, 1,000 into my, credit cards, and then boost to 2,000 for the week, kind of thing. So you set your rule like what you need. It's like, hey, my family needs 4,000, so then I'm gonna 1,000 a week. Okay, then we're gonna pull that for expenses, mortgage, whatever. And then you want to say, hey, I want to put an extra, I don't know, $100 a week into the bot, then you do that. And so if you keep borrowing to supply those things, and if it doesn't supply it, then you need to sell it. Then that's Bitcoin serving you and you not serving it. Okay, you don't go, oh man, I don't have nothing to do because it's gonna trigger. Just trigger it and use it. Okay, that's how I take profit because it's telling you something when is going sideways and you're using what you need, 1,000 every week, 1,000 every week, 1,000 every week, and now it's not keeping up the 1,000 every week, well, guess what? It's probably time to sell because it's going to come down. So you need to trigger that sell and sell at the top, and that's where you take profit, right? And then if it doesn't, you have money, DC it back in, borrow from it, DC in, borrow from it, DC back, borrow from it. If it needs trigger it, fine, whatever. And it'll come back up, boost, 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 trigger, borrow, boost, 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 trigger, and then all of a sudden it's not keeping up again. Sell. All right, so that's kind of how I would do it. All right, it's a 20-minute video now. Hopefully that makes sense for you. It's also based on what your family needs. You set a demand for Bitcoin to perform. You give me 1,000 a week. If it doesn't, then it needs to sell. But at the same time, you you know your that demand also has to match your income also. If you're demanding 10,000 but you only make 1,000, that's not gonna work out, right? So if you're only making 1,000, you could demand 1,000 from it to perform. If not, or maybe a little less than that, maybe $700 per week to keep the collateral happy. And then if it doesn't perform, yeah, then you have to sell a little bit because it's coming down. If it performs for you, then that collateral that you're asking is going to give you more and more, and you can demand that. Okay, consistently until it goes sideways again. Then it's not keeping up. Then you sell, come back down. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that helps. I'll add this for everyone else too. Okay.